Maya's land was her world. For as long as she could remember, the wide fields, the small stream, and the tall trees were part of her life. The land was quiet and peaceful, far away from the noise of the town. It was a place where she could think and breathe. This was the place her family had taken care of for many years. It was a special place, full of memories. Maya's grandfather had told her stories about the land when she was a child. He said it was a gift from nature and from their family's hard work. He showed her the small dam he built near the stream many years ago. The dam held back the water and created a little lake where birds came to drink. Maya loved that dam. It was a part of her family's story. But one morning, everything changed. Maya woke up to the sound of loud machines and trucks. She looked outside and saw men working on her land. Trees were falling, the ground was moving, and big machines were digging. She couldn't believe her eyes. Where were the trees? Where was the quiet stream? The land she loved was disappearing. Maya hurried to her car and drove to the site. She wanted to find out what was happening. When she reached there, she saw something she never expected. There were many houses. 35 houses, all built side by side. They looked new and shiny. It was like a small town had suddenly appeared on her land. Maya felt her heart sink. She didn't know who had built the houses or why. She tried to talk to the workers, but they only said, "We work for the homeowners association." Maya didn't know what that meant. She asked the town office, but they told her the HOA had permission to build. But Maya had never been asked. No one had talked to her. How could they build on her land without telling her? The feeling inside her was heavy. It was like a part of her was taken away. The land that once felt like home was now full of strangers and noise. She thought about the old dam near the stream. She wondered if the water was safe. The little lake was her secret place, and now it might be gone. That evening, Maya walked to the dam. The sun was setting, and the sky was painted with colors of orange and pink. The dam still held the water back, and the lake looked calm. Birds were flying home, and the wind made the trees dance softly. For a moment, Maya felt peace again. She sat by the edge of the dam and thought. The land was not just soil and water. It was part of who she was. She remembered her grandfather's stories and her family's love for this place. She knew she had to do something. Maya looked at the houses on her land. She saw children playing in the yards, families talking, and lights shining in the windows. It was a new life there, but it was not hers. She felt sad but also angry. The people living there didn't know the history of the land. They didn't know the story of the dam or the stream. Maya stayed by the dam until it was dark. The stars came out, shining bright in the sky. She felt small but also strong. She promised herself she would protect the land in her own way. She wasn't sure how yet, but she knew the land needed her. That night, Maya couldn't sleep. Her mind was full of thoughts. She thought about talking to the HOA again. Maybe they would listen. Maybe she could find a way to keep some part of the land safe. But she also felt afraid. What if no one cared? What if the land was lost forever? The next morning, Maya woke up early. She went to the dam again. She watched the water slowly flowing behind it. The dam was holding strong, but the land around it was changing fast. She thought about her next step. Maya knew this was just the beginning of a long journey. The land meant everything to her, and she wasn't ready to give up. She looked at the water and whispered, "I will protect you." Days passed, but Maya's heart did not find peace. Every morning, she went to the dam to watch the water quietly flow. The little lake was still calm, but the houses grew bigger, and more people arrived. The land was changing, and Maya felt like she was losing a part of herself. She decided to learn more about the homeowners association. Maya went to the town office and asked questions. She wanted to know who gave permission to build those houses on her land. The officials told her that the Hoa had legal rights. They said the land had been sold years ago by her family, but Maya was confused. She had never heard about any sale. How could her land belong to someone else? Maya left the office feeling lost. She needed help. She went to visit an old friend named Ravi, who was a kind man and knew a lot about laws and land. Ravi listened carefully to Maya's story. He looked serious and said, "We need to find the truth. If the land was sold, there should be papers. If not, we have a chance." Together, they started to search for old documents. They went to the town hall and the library. They talked to Maya's relatives and neighbors. Days turned into weeks, but Maya did not give up. The land was too important. One afternoon, Ravi found a dusty box in the town records. It had old papers, some were hard to read, but they told a story. The land was in Maya's family name, but long ago, a distant relative had tried to sell part of it without permission. The papers were never signed by Maya's grandfather or her parents. It looked like a mistake, or maybe someone took advantage of the family. Maya felt hope rise inside her. If those papers were wrong, then maybe the land was still hers. But the Hoa had built 35 homes already. Could she stop them now? Ravi said, "It will not be easy, but we can try. We must talk to the Hoa and the town council. We need to show the truth and ask for help." Maya nodded. She was ready for the challenge, even if it scared her. She thought about the dam and the lake. She wanted to protect not only the land but also the water that gave life to the trees and animals. The next day, Maya went to the first Hoa meeting. She was nervous but brave. The room was full of people, some looked curious, some confused, and some did not want to listen. Maya stood up and told her story clearly. She explained about the old papers, the land, and the dam. Some people whispered. Others looked surprised. A man spoke, "We bought the land fairly. The homes are good for the town. We cannot change that now." Maya felt a sharp pain but stayed calm. "I understand," she said, "but this land means more than buildings. It has history, nature, and life. We need to find a way to respect that." The meeting ended with no clear answer. Maya felt tired but not defeated. She knew she needed more support. Outside the meeting room, Maya met a woman named Sarah. Sarah was a mother of 2 and lived in one of the new houses. She smiled gently and said, "I want to help. I didn't know about the land story. Maybe we can work together." Maya felt grateful. She realized that not everyone on the other side was against her. Some cared too. Together, they started to talk with neighbors. They shared Maya's story and the truth about the land. Slowly, more people listened. Some joined Maya's side. They wanted to save the dam and protect the little lake. One evening, as the sun went down, Maya and Sarah stood by the dam. The water was calm, reflecting the pink sky. "We have a long way to go," Maya said softly. Sarah nodded, "But we're not alone now." Maya smiled, feeling a spark of hope. The land was changing, yes, but maybe it was not too late to save its heart. That night, Maya dreamed of the old trees, the birds singing, and children playing by the lake. She dreamed of peace returning to the land she loved so much. Maya woke up early again. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting soft light over the land she loved. Even though the houses were there now, and the world was changing fast, she still felt a strong connection to the soil, the water, and the trees. It was her home, no matter what. After the meeting with the Hoa and the town council, Maya felt a new energy inside her. She was not alone anymore. Sarah and some neighbors wanted to protect the land's heart, the old dam and the lake behind it. Maya knew this was the first step in a long journey. They needed a plan. Maya, Sarah, and a few others met at Maya's small house on the edge of the land. They sat around the kitchen table, drinking tea, sharing ideas, and making plans. We need to raise awareness, Maya said firmly. Not just here, but in the whole town. People need to understand what this land means. Sarah nodded. I can help. I know some people who write for the local newspaper. Another neighbor, Mr. Singh, spoke quietly, we could organize a cleanup day by the lake. Show everyone the beauty that is still here. The group smiled. It was a good start. They decided to name their effort Save the Lake. Over the next days, Maya and her friends worked hard. Sarah wrote a story about the land's history, the dam, and the new houses. The local newspaper printed it with a big photo of the calm lake and tall trees. People in town began to talk. Some were curious. Some were surprised. Maya even received calls from people who wanted to join Save the Lake. One afternoon, Maya walked along the edge of the new neighborhood. Children played happily in their yards. Families chatted and waved hello. It was clear the homes had brought life to the area. But Maya wished they could also see the land's story, the story that was slipping away. She stopped by the dam. The water was still calm, but she could hear a faint sound dripping water. She walked closer and noticed small cracks in the dam's wall. The years had made it weak. If it broke, the lake would disappear. Maya's heart raced. The dam was not just a part of the land, it was the key to saving the stream, the trees, and the animals. She had to fix it. She called Ravi, her old friend who helped with the land papers. Ravi, the dam is weak. If it breaks, the lake will be gone. Can you help? Ravi agreed. We need to find an expert. The dam is old, and it needs careful repair. Maya felt worried but hopeful. She knew this was another challenge. Days later, an engineer named Mr. Sharma visited the land. He studied the dam carefully. After looking at the cracks, he said, this dam needs repair soon. If ignored, the water will break through. But with the right work, it can last for many more years. Maya felt relief but knew the repairs would cost money. She and her friends decided to organize a fundraiser. They planned a small fair near the lake, inviting neighbors and people from the town. The day of the fair was bright and warm. There were food stalls, music, games, and even a small boat ride on the lake. Children laughed and ran freely. Maya saw neighbors smiling and talking, enjoying the land's beauty. At the center of the fair, Maya stood by a small booth explaining the dam's history and the importance of protecting the land. Many people stopped to listen and ask questions. Sarah gave a speech about the land's story, the families who built it, and the need to care for nature even as the town grows. By the end of the day, they had raised enough money to start fixing the dam. Maya felt proud but also tired. She sat by the lake, watching the water sparkle in the sun. This was what she wanted, a future where the land, the people, and the nature could live together in harmony. That night, Maya dreamed again. This time, she saw the lake full of happy children playing, trees growing tall, and the dam standing strong. It was a future worth fighting for. The days after the fair were busy. Workers arrived to repair the dam. Maya watched as the cracks were filled, and the walls were made stronger. The lake seemed to breathe easier, and the birds sang louder. But Maya knew the fight was not over. The Hoa and some neighbors still wanted more houses, more roads. The land was still in danger. One evening, Maya sat by the dam with Sarah. They looked at the water and the stars above. We have done much, Maya said softly, but we need to keep going. Sarah smiled. Yes. We have a quiet resistance here, a community that cares. That is our strength. Maya felt hope bloom in her heart. The land was still hers, in a way. Not just because of papers or houses, but because she loved it fiercely. She whispered to the water, I will protect you, no matter what. The weeks after the dam repairs were full of small victories. The lake stayed calm and clear, and the trees around it grew stronger. Maya's heart felt lighter. She had hope again. But she knew she could not stop now. The land still needed protection, and there were more challenges ahead. One bright morning, Maya received a letter in the mail. It was from the town council. The letter said they wanted to meet with her and the Hoa to talk about the land and the future of the neighborhood. Maya felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. This could be a chance to make a difference. She called Sarah right away. "The town council wants to meet us," Maya said. "This could be important." Sarah smiled. "We have to be ready. Let's gather all the neighbors who care. Together, our voices will be stronger." Maya agreed. They sent invitations and talked to people. On the day of the meeting, many neighbors came to support Maya and the cause to protect the land and the lake. The town council meeting was held in a small hall. Maya stood before the group, her heart beating fast. The mayor, Mr. Patel, opened the meeting. "We have heard many concerns about the new houses and the land," Mr. Patel said. "Our goal is to balance growth with nature." Maya took a deep breath and spoke clearly. "This land is more than just soil and trees. It is a home to many creatures, and it has history. The dam and the lake are part of that story. We ask for a plan that respects the nature and the people." The Hoa leader, Mr. Collins, responded. "We understand the concerns, but the houses provide homes for families. The town is growing, and we must make space." Maya nodded. "We want homes too, but not at the cost of destroying nature. We need a way to protect the lake and the land." The council listened carefully. Then, a new idea came forward from one of the members, Miss Lopez. "What if we create a protected area around the lake? We could build walking paths, benches, and signs to teach people about the land's history. It could be a place for everyone to enjoy nature." The room grew quiet. Maya looked around and saw faces nodding slowly. Some Hoa members seemed surprised but thoughtful. Mr. Patel smiled. "That is a great idea. We will work on a plan to make this happen." After the meeting, Maya felt a wave of relief. The town council was listening. There was hope for a future where the land and the new homes could exist together. Sarah hugged Maya. "You did well. This is a new beginning." Maya smiled but knew there was more work ahead. They needed to keep the community involved and protect the plan. Over the next weeks, Maya and her friends worked with the town. They helped design the walking paths and chose spots for benches. They even planned a small center to share stories about the land's history. More neighbors joined the effort, bringing ideas and helping with the work. The community felt stronger, connected not just by houses, but by a shared love for the land. One afternoon, Maya walked alone by the lake. The water was still and clear, reflecting the blue sky and green trees. She felt calm and happy. The birds sang, and a gentle breeze touched her face. She sat on a rock by the water's edge and thought about everything that had happened. The fight for the land, the dam repairs, the meetings, and the growing support. It had been hard, but now she saw a future full of promise. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her. It was Ravi, her old friend who helped with the papers and the dam. "I heard the good news," Ravi said, smiling. "The council's plan is a big step." Maya nodded. "Yes. But we must keep watching. The land still needs care." Ravi sat beside her. "You have done an amazing job, Maya. Your love for the land brought people together." Maya smiled softly. "I just want to protect what's important." As the sun began to set, painting the sky in pink and orange, Maya looked out over the lake. The future felt bright. She knew there would be challenges ahead, but with the community's support, she was ready. She stood up and whispered to the water, "Thank you for holding on. We will take care of you." Walking back home, Maya felt a peace she had not known in a long time. The land was healing, and so was she. That night, Maya dreamed again. This time, she saw children playing on the walking paths, families gathering by the benches, and the lake shining under the stars. It was a new hope, a future where nature and people could live side by side. The days turned warmer as summer arrived. Maya felt the land come alive with energy. The trees were full of green leaves, and the birds sang loudly in the morning. The little lake behind the dam sparkled like a mirror, reflecting the bright blue sky. The new walking paths were slowly being finished, and the benches were ready for people to sit and enjoy the beauty. Maya and her friends worked hard, planting flowers and cleaning the edges of the lake. The community had come together, sharing tools, food, and stories. There was a new feeling in the neighborhood, a feeling of hope, care, and friendship. One afternoon, Sarah invited Maya to a small picnic by the lake. Many neighbors came, including families with children, elderly couples, and even Mr. Collins from the Hoa. It was the first time many of them met outside of meetings, and the mood was light and joyful. Maya looked around and smiled. Children ran freely, laughing and chasing each other. Adults talked about their lives and the future of the land. It felt like the land was healing not just from the buildings, but from the hurt it had suffered. During the picnic, a little girl named Anya came to Maya and asked, "Why do you care so much about the lake?" Maya knelt down and looked into Anya's curious eyes. "Because this place is special. It's home to many animals and plants. It's a place where families can find peace. And it's part of my family's story." Anya smiled and nodded. "I want to help too." Maya hugged Anya gently. "We all can help. Every little thing makes a difference." That evening, as the sun began to set, Maya and Sarah sat on a bench by the lake. The sky was painted with soft colors, and the water reflected the beauty around it. "I feel happy," Sarah said softly. "Not just because of the land, but because of the people. This community is growing strong." Maya agreed. "Yes. We fought hard, but now we are more than neighbors. We are friends who care for the same home." As the weeks passed, the Save the Lake group grew. More neighbors joined, and they planned events like nature walks, bird watching, and cleanup days. They taught children about the plants and animals that lived in and around the lake. The small center they had planned began to take shape, filled with pictures, stories, and information about the land's history. One day, Maya received a letter from the town council. It said that the council was impressed by the community's work and wanted to make the lake and the surrounding land an official nature park. This meant stronger protection for the area and new opportunities for education and enjoyment. Maya felt tears in her eyes. The land she had loved and fought for was becoming a place that everyone could treasure. The news spread quickly. The neighbors celebrated with a small party by the lake. Maya gave a short speech, thanking everyone for their help and care. "This is our land, our home," she said. "Together, we can keep it safe and beautiful for many years." The feeling of unity was strong. Even some who had doubted the project before now saw the value of the lake and the nature around it. As summer moved toward fall, Maya noticed changes not only in the land but in herself. She felt stronger, calmer, and more connected to the world. The land had taught her patience, hope, and the power of community. One cool morning, Maya went to the dam alone. She sat quietly and watched the water flow gently. The repairs had held well, and the lake was full. She thought about the journey she had been on, the pain of losing her land, the fight to save it, and the new friendships that had grown. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her. It was Mr. Singh, one of the oldest neighbors and a quiet supporter of the cause. He smiled and said, "You did well, Maya. This land is lucky to have you." Maya smiled back. "Thank you, Mr. Singh. But it's not just me. It's all of us." He nodded. "Yes. That's the true strength of this place." The sun rose higher, and the birds sang their songs. The lake shone brightly, a symbol of hope and renewal. Maya stood up and whispered to the water, "Thank you for staying strong. We will keep caring for you." As she walked back to her house, Maya felt peace in her heart. The land had been hurt, but it was healing just like her. That night, Maya dreamed again. This time, the dream was filled with laughter, music, and the soft sound of water flowing. She saw children playing by the lake, families gathering on the walking paths, and the dam standing proud and strong. It was a dream of a future where nature and people lived together in harmony, a dream she knew would come true. As the season slowly changed, Maya watched the land around the lake grow stronger. The trees swayed gently in the cool breeze, and the animals returned, making their homes near the water. The small nature park was becoming a place full of life and happiness. Maya and the community continued to care for the land. Every weekend, people gathered to plant flowers, clean the paths, and share stories about the land's history. Children learned to appreciate the beauty around them, and families found peace in the quiet spots by the lake. But just as everything seemed to be going well, a new challenge appeared. One morning, Maya received a call from Sarah, her voice worried. "Maya, there's been heavy rain last night. The dam looks strong, but the water is rising fast. We need to check it immediately." Maya felt a rush of fear. The dam was the heart of the lake, and if it broke, all their hard work would be lost. They rushed to the dam together, with a few neighbors joining them. The water had risen higher than they had ever seen before. The stream behind the dam was strong and loud, and the cracks seemed to be growing. Maya's heart pounded. "We must act fast," she said. "We can't let the lake disappear." Ravi, the engineer who had helped before, arrived quickly. He examined the dam carefully and said, "The dam is holding for now, but if the rain continues, it might break." The community gathered, working side by side. Some brought sandbags to strengthen the walls, while others cleared debris to help the water flow safely. Maya and Sarah organized the efforts, encouraging everyone to stay calm and work together. The hours passed slowly. The rain stopped, but the water was still high. Everyone stayed near the dam, watching and waiting. Maya felt tired but did not leave. She knew this moment was important. The dam was not just a wall of stones, it was a symbol of their love and care for the land. Finally, the water began to go down. The dam held strong. The neighbors cheered softly, relief washing over them. Maya smiled, tears in her eyes. "We did it," she whispered. "Together." After the storm passed, the town council visited the site. They saw the community's effort and decided to provide more support to keep the dam and the lake safe. Maya felt proud. The land had tested them, but they had stood strong. In the days that followed, the group planned new ways to protect the land from future storms. They planted trees to hold the soil and built small channels to guide the water safely. Maya also spent time with the children, telling them stories about the land's past and teaching them how to care for nature. One afternoon, a young boy named Arjun asked her, "Why do you never give up on the land?" Maya looked into his eyes and said gently, "Because this land is part of us. It teaches us to be patient, kind, and strong. We must protect it so it can protect us." Arjun smiled and nodded. The months passed, and the land continued to heal. The nature park became a place where people came to relax, learn, and connect with the earth. Maya often walked by the lake, feeling peace and gratitude. The journey had not been easy, but it had brought her closer to the people and the land she loved. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Maya stood by the dam and whispered, "Thank you for trusting us. We will always protect you." The dam stood firm, the water calm once more. It was a quiet promise between Maya and the land, a promise that no matter what, they would face the future together. And as the stars appeared in the sky, shining brightly above the lake, Maya felt hope deeper than ever before. The land was alive, full of stories, and ready for whatever came next. The seasons passed gently over the small nature park. Autumn painted the trees in gold and red, and the air was cool and fresh. Maya walked along the paths she had helped create, feeling a deep sense of peace. The lake was calm, the dam strong, and the land alive with the sounds of nature. Maya often thought back to the long journey she had been on. From the day the Hoa built houses on her land without permission, to the moment the town council agreed to protect the lake, it had been a difficult path. But it was also full of hope, friendship, and love. One bright morning, Maya received a visit from a young woman named Nisha. She was a reporter from the city newspaper. Nisha said, "I have heard about your story, how you and your community saved this land. I want to share it with others." Maya smiled softly. "It is not just my story. It belongs to everyone who cared and worked to protect this place." Nisha nodded. "That's why it is powerful. People need to hear about hope and the strength of community." Over the next days, Nisha interviewed Maya and many neighbors. She wrote a beautiful article about the land, the dam, and the people who refused to give up. When the article was published, many people from nearby towns read it. Some came to visit the nature park, wanting to see the beautiful lake and walking paths. Others were inspired to protect their own lands. Maya felt proud. The land she had loved was now a symbol of hope beyond her small town. One afternoon, Maya sat with Sarah and Ravi by the lake. They talked about the future and their dreams. "I want this park to grow," Sarah said. "Maybe one day, we can have classes for children about nature and history." Ravi smiled. "And we can build a small library with books about the environment." Maya looked at the lake, the water shining softly. "I want the next generations to love this land as much as we do. To protect it and learn from it." They all agreed. The land's story was not over, it was only just beginning. Later that week, Maya received a letter from the town council. It said that the nature park would be officially named Maya's Lake, in honor of her hard work and dedication. Maya was surprised and touched. She invited the community to a small celebration. On the day of the celebration, many people gathered by the lake. There were smiles, laughter, and songs. Children played by the water, families shared food, and neighbors talked warmly. Maya stood in front of the crowd, her heart full. "This lake is more than water and land," she said. "It is a home, a teacher, and a friend. We saved it together, and now it belongs to all of us." The crowd cheered softly, feeling the truth in her words. As the sun set behind the hills, Maya looked at the dam and the lake, shining in the last light. She thought about the journey, the fights, the tears, the hope, and felt a deep gratitude. The land had taught her about patience, love, and the power of people coming together. Before leaving, Maya whispered softly, "May this land always be a place of peace, joy, and life." Walking home, she knew the future held new challenges, but also new dreams. The legacy of the land was alive in every tree, every drop of water, and every heart that cared. And Maya smiled, ready for whatever came next, knowing that together, they could protect this beautiful home forever.